What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. This is live and recorded, and sorry I'm a little late. Kids aren't feeling good. Wife's not feeling good. Life happens, right? Overboard Tech, what's up, buddy? Good to see you in the chat. We have Alvidas, what's up, man? Ziege Miner, Steven Cicero, Ninja Kid, Automatic Beats. Who else? Titan Nightmare. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. I think that's it, because I went late. Nobody's here. Dang it. I'm just kidding. It's all right. I appreciate all of you guys that are here. We got a Red Bull ready to kick things off. It's going to be a short one today. Obviously, kids are up again. They're not feeling great, so I got to assist the wife this morning while she's getting ready for work. So this is going to be a real quick one. We're just going to go over two videos that I want to watch, right? So there's like, people are super bullish about being, you know, Bitcoin's going to $1 million or Bitcoin's going to like 9K, right? So there's this just two polar opposites that I kind of just want to watch a video on each. One's from Altcoin Daily, the other one's from the Europe Business Channel. So never heard of them. I just came across it, but this guy Garrett that's actually pretty knowledgeable on the market. So first things first, let's check out Bitcoin. As you guys can see, hold on, let me close all these ads. What the hell is this? A new pop-up on the right side. Weird, never seen that before. All right, Bitcoin just under 28K, and we have Ethereum 1742. Not too bad, not too bad. So I want to know what you guys think. Actually, are we going to go to 30,000 first, or are we going to go back down to 25? What do you guys think? I'm going to put a poll in the chat quick, because I think that would be an interesting poll to have. Bitcoin 25K. Actually, Bitcoin where next? That's what I'll say, and then I'll put 25K. 25K or 30K. How's that? If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat. All right, let's go. Fear and Greed Index 68. So there was some news also about the Fear and Greed Index being the highest it's been since, you know, the last bull run. So pretty interesting on that part. Again, when people get greedy, it's time to be fearful. When people are fearful, it's time to be greedy. So take that as you will. That's some advice from Mr. Warren Buffett. What's up, Chris Hanley? Good to see you, buddy. Good morning. All Set Miner, my man. Good to see you. All right, let's do this. This is gonna be a quick one this morning again, guys. So actually, you know what? First, we're gonna start with this right here. This is the bullish prediction, and Bitcoin's going to $1 million. Another video from Mr. Altcoin Daily. I'm gonna leave a link to his video in the description below, as well as everything we use here today down in the description below. So let's watch this. I'm gonna turn down the music, and we will see what this guy has to say. I've never heard of this kid before, so I want to if you guys have, let me know in the chat. Well, let's see what he has to say.
There are two things I can guarantee you in my life. One, that I'll die, and the other, that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. And those are what's the two things that I can only value as my life and my Bitcoin. So it is the only fixed supply asset, Kelly. It's not that complicated. It's going to go up because everything else can be issued more.
Jack Mallers, the CEO of Bitcoin payment app Strike, says Balaji's $1 million Bitcoin prediction is possible. Balaji's $1 million Bitcoin prediction, however, is based on the US dollar going hyperinflationary. But the bank crisis is making the dollar deflationary? Or the 2010s, even with the massive QE, we didn't see the US dollar go hyperinflationary. But Jack Mallers says that it's possible.
A banking crisis is deflationary. And so when I see Balaji and others saying Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million, it may go up, but that may be because of the Fed's response here. The 2010s were not hyperinflationary. There's no obvious reason why now would be hyperinflationary either.
Yeah, so Kelly, it's actually not that complicated, and I'm excited to try and convey that to America. There's a market term that's used here in Chicago a lot, is demand finds supply. What do I mean by that? If Ken Griffin is going to want to buy the most expensive condo in America, someone will build it for him. Someone will put a 201st floor in Miami's tallest building. If silver's going to 1000x, I will walk into my kitchen right now. I will melt all my silverware and I will sell it at market. If gold is going to rally, Elon Musk.
Joke's on him. Silver's not really, well, silverware is not really silver anymore, unless he bought it like way long time ago.
Musk will find more on Mars. Bitcoin is, this is a super important point. Bitcoin is the only monetary instrument in the history of our species that is fixed. It does not matter how much more demand comes into the asset class, Kelly, no one will ever be able to make more of it. There are two things I can guarantee you in my life. One, that I'll die, and the other, that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. And those are what's the two things that I can only value as my life and my Bitcoin. So it is
somebody in the chat said, Oval Tech, actually, it was him. He said death and taxes are the only two things. He said, nah, man, for this dude, it's death and BTC.
the only fixed supply asset, Kelly. It's not that complicated. It's going to go up because everything else can be issued more.
So if Bitcoin demand increases, supply cannot increase. It's impossible. But the Fed says everything is fine. The Fed says inflation is minuscule. Jack doesn't think so. By the way, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Daily videos just like this, keeping you informed on the entire cryptocurrency market. If you're interested in making money in cryptocurrency, subscribe to our channel, daily videos.
The only thing that's clear to us and clear to our customers is you cannot hold and save in dollars anymore. I think that there's going to be a new era of the US dollar where inflation will enter a normalized 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%. The days of 2% inflation are over.
What if you're wrong, Jack? Because the market, as you know, the market is telling us we've gone from having, expected 3.5% inflation last year to just over 2% now for the next 5 years. Again, it's it doesn't see inflation accelerating and picking up from here. Look at the swap lines we just instituted over the weekend. It reiterates the dollar's dominance in the global financial system. And if anything, we're going to be averaging inflation for the next decade that probably looks a lot more like the 2010s we just came from. It was not inflation. And Bitcoin still did very well, by the way. It was not an inflationary period.
What's Jack going to say? Because she seems like she's making sense. Inflation is being culled, according to the Fed. Globally, the US dollar is dominant. The QE in the 2010s did not make the US dollar hyperinflationary. Listen to how Jack answers this.
Yeah, but Kelly, these swap lines and treating these assets at par that these banks are holding is a load of crap. It's a politically correct way. The swap lines over the weekend were a politically correct way going into an election year for the Federal Reserve to bail out foreign big institutions and not take care of the little guy in the United States of America. Those things aren't trading at par. If they were trading at par, when I walked down to my bank on the corner and I said, I want my money, they'd be able to hand it to me. They can't, Kelly. So this is just a masquerade load of nonsense. If they have to backstop these things with new money, and you're seeing risk on assets, you're seeing scarce assets actually be big winners here. So you could call it inflation.
Real quick, Yankee in the chat said this guy Jack seems made up. Hoodie and empty room background.
Because the CPI is a load of nonsense, right? Like the government's going to tell me how the dollar is inflating based on a basket of instruments. Like my Netflix subscription or my Caesar salad doesn't actually tell me how well the dollar is doing or how much it's being devalued. Miami real estate does. Bitcoin does. Bitcoin's up over 50% this year. Yeah. You're telling me that the dollar's not inflating? You're out of your mind. I'm not listening to that. The Fed and the whole monetary system is based on trust, and they constantly break that trust. It'd be the equivalent of there's a fire outside of my house. I smell the smoke, and someone's telling me, no, it's just a bunch of teenagers putting on a bonfire. Okay, but I hear one siren. I hear one police siren. Yeah. Are you sure it's a bonfire? Yeah, it's a bonfire. Now I hear 10 sirens, 100 sirens. Now my whole community is running out. I'm not going to get up and look outside the window, Kelly, and see what's going on. I don't believe them for a second. You've got to be absolutely crazy to believe the Federal Reserve right now. They're full of it, and I don't have to because I own Bitcoin. There's no one that could deflate my instrument. I get to hold it, save in it. I know the monetary policy. I sleep like a baby, like the baby face that I am. Jack, I think you're crazy if you believe the Fed and these swap lines and treating these assets at par. It's a gimmick. It's a scam.
It is fascinating to watch the folks on CNBC or Twitter assume that Balaji's bet that Bitcoin hits $1 million based on hyperinflation is asinine. Harmful to his reputation, they say, or simply has terrible odds. Here is what they're all missing. Given the latest financial crisis, coupled with the stubbornly high global inflation, yes, not just US, the Federal Reserve and the FDIC have already backstopped a number of failing banks and have pumped copious amounts of dollars back into the system. The only problem? Headline inflation is still over 6%. When inflation is running 3 times higher than the Fed's target of 2%, injecting hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars of liquidity into the system is certainly not going to help promote price stability, aka help bring inflation back to their target. Yet, the regional banking crisis requires a fix. Why? regional banks make up the majority of mortgages in America, as well as a huge share of consumer loans and other forms of credit. If these banks cannot lend, the economy crashes. Big money center banks like JP Morgan lack the physical footprint in places like rural Oklahoma, so acquiring them will be doable but difficult and slow given how toxic the balance sheets are and the amount of time it would take to pour over them. So the Fed's in a tight spot. The only option is to print money and absorb underwater assets from these banks and in turn inflate the value of risk assets and inflation hedges. Risk assets, right? Yes, that's right. On a week when regional banks' stock prices were crashing, the Nasdaq was up 5.83%. Risk assets tend to rise when liquidity gets injected into the system, but so does the value of inflation hedges, namely gold. Bitcoin has been widely accepted to be a digital form of gold, a hedge against hyperinflation. Unlike physical gold, Bitcoin is easy to buy, sell, transfer, hold. Nearly anyone with an internet connection can purchase it worldwide, and nobody can print more of it. So what does this all have to do with Balaji's BitSignal, the $1 million bet? He's raising awareness to what is likely coming, an era of hyperinflation. And hyperinflation happens fast. But wait a minute.
Yeah, but I still do think that, I mean, listen, I want Bitcoin to go to $1 million. We all want Bitcoin to go to $1 million. I'm sure you guys are holding some of it, right? 90 days, I don't see it. I think it's a bunch of BS. I think it's just to pump Bitcoin in a sense where it's kind of like market manipulation, right? That's kind of what's going on. At least that's what I feel is going on. You guys let me know if you think anything different, but
there's just one problem. Why is the Bitcoin supply fixed? Because can't it be changed? Subscribe to our channel for daily crypto coverage just like this. Engage with the video. Let's get this info out there to as many people as possible. Listen to the answer that Jack gives to this question.
Congratulations, Alvidas said, actually, today I sold some BTC. I bought at 19K and sold at 28K. It was profitable for me. Hell yeah. And Zapira, what's up, buddy? Good to see you.
You've got to explain to me one thing. Why is the supply fixed? And is that because someone says it's fixed who could change their mind?
No, it's a great point and question, Tyler. It's because it's written in the software and the software is distributed. There is no one person to ask. There is no one person to trust. The whole decentralization, is it decentralized so that you could put pictures and NFTs on the blockchain? Is it decentralized so that you could fix gaming? No, it's decentralized so that the defendants of the monetary policy are distributed, is so that it's a network of computers that actually defend the policy and the instrumentation of the monetary asset. That is not the case for Ethereum. That is not the case for any other altcoin. That is not the case for the US dollar. That is not the case for Miami real estate. That is not the case for precious metals. It is the only monetary instrument that has its monetary policy distributed and defended in a sound way.
Forgive me for being dense,
so
but if you say that, that it's because this is the way the software is written and it is immutable, it is unchangeable.
Get your tickets to Bit.
I hate that. It cuts it off. Let me jump forward.
Get your tickets now.
Why couldn't the software be rewritten, or why couldn't the authors of the software or the guardians of the software write a new software that creates Bitcoin 2.0 with another supply of fixed supply of Bitcoin?
This guy just woke up.
Yeah. So Tyler, I run Bitcoin software, and someone tried to do this. I want you to Google Bitcoin Cash after this interview is over. Someone said, I want to change the rules of Bitcoin. Now, right? I may want to create more of a supply. I may want to make it faster. I may want to make it do a backflip. I may make it want to store pictures of monkeys drooling on themselves on the blockchain. And they created it, and they created new rules, and they called it Bitcoin Cash. It's a different asset. It's a different instrument. And when someone tries to pay me in it, my software rules that I run in my home in a room over there says, nope, that's invalid. That thing is a piece of poop, and I don't accept it because it is invalidating the rules of the system that were set out by Satoshi Nakamoto over a decade ago. So you can create whatever you want. You want to create FedNow coin, flip a dookie coin. I don't care. There's 21 million of the things that I run and that I protect and that I save in. And those rules were started a long time ago. And that's what the network runs. So if you change the rules, you're creating a different monetary asset and a different instrument. It doesn't matter. Very true.
Very, very true. Shout out to Altcoin Daily for that video. And whoever that kid is, I mean, Jack Mallers seems pretty, I don't know. It's kind of smart, right? I guess. Sounds smart anyway. Sounds good for Bitcoin. So I guess we'll have to see if it gets anywhere near their predictions. This guy right here, Gareth Soloway. Oh, didn't mean to click on that. Oops. Yeah, Gareth Soloway or whatever his name is. He is a little more down to earth. So I want to see what he has to say. This is the guy that's claiming Bitcoin down to 15, down to 9K by the end of 2023, I guess. So he's basically just saying we need to see that pain in the market before it can actually drive itself back up. So I'm more on this guy's side because 2023 is just going to be almost as tough as 2022, I think, personally, but I guess we'll have to see. So let's hear what he has to say and we'll go from there. Let's do it.
Bitcoin outlook for us.
So something you mentioned, which you can't help but smile at it, is that the fiat system, the banking system, is actually helping make the case for why Bitcoin is a necessity here. And I think that that's something that we have to all kind of take note of, and then also say this is a major step. I think we're going to look back at this period and say this is one of the key moments why Bitcoin is now such a major asset in 5 or 10 years from now. So ultimately, do I think that the selling in Bitcoin is over? No, honestly, I don't. I think that in the short term, the fear in the banks caused a lot of money from banks to go into Bitcoin as a safety play. I also think,
and I think that's very true. It's a safety play for people that were in the banks. They got scared, put it into Bitcoin, and that's why we're seeing this pump. So I don't think it's just going to continue to go up because it can't go up forever, right?
I think that we saw USDC decoupling over last weekend. People said, hey, I don't even want to be in stable coins right now, so I'm going to go into Bitcoin as well. So I think that was kind of the reason for this latest move. I think once the financial system comes a little calmer, then you might see Bitcoin head down. And I still worry that if I'm correct that the S&P is going to drop another 25% or so from here, then I do think it drags, just by fear, it drags cryptocurrencies lower overall. Now, long term, I'm a huge bull on Bitcoin, and I think I get classified as a bear because I've talked about a fall since 69,000. But long term, I still love it. I think it's the future of the digital gold world. And I think that there's a real need, and we see it today. There's a real need for Bitcoin.
Look, you did say it was gonna break.
Hold on. If we're judging this guy off just his camera alone, he can't afford anything other than a potato. If he knows where Bitcoin's going, come on.
And not hold at 25K. It's at around 24,200 at this time. You have mentioned that your short-term target is for Bitcoin to pull away all the way down to 13,000 and even to 9,000. Is that still your sort of short-term call on Bitcoin? And exactly in what timeline?
Yeah, so I think you have to be looking at in the course of this year. By the end of the year, I likely think we'll at least hit 12 to 13,000. And the basics of this are that, number one, we have to still wait for regulation. So especially with the uncertainty, I mean, yes, the banking situation has pushed money in here, as has the USDC issues. But I think ultimately we have to remember that you're at a point where regulation is still keeping big money out, and that people are still subject to absolute fear. So when we get in a scenario where we start to see more and more panic selling in the markets, in the economy is starting to dip into recession, my guess is it gets sold across the board. So assets, maybe gold survives in that period and doesn't dump, but even during COVID, if we remember the COVID collapse, even gold dumped. And that's where I kind of think that we're going to see the big dump on Bitcoin, one final flush down. I'm going to be waiting and nibbling kind of once we get in that sub 15,000 level, all the way down to 9,000 if it gets there.
So you're saying that it's not going to be seen as a safe haven asset, and that fear is going to get the money out of Bitcoin, even though it is supposed to be seen as a safe haven asset by Bitcoin maxis?
Yes, and that's what I believe. So in the near term, right, so based on what's going on in the banking system right now, it actually has had a little period of this is a safety play to put money into Bitcoin. But if you look historically at Bitcoin, it's gone down when the stock market's gone down. And I think that isn't fully decoupled yet. I think we're seeing these flashes of what Bitcoin can be, this amazing asset that is a protection asset against other issues in the global sphere. But it's not quite there yet. It's still an immature, right? It's a 14-year-old. So it's a teenager. It's wild. It's crazy. We have to be ready for that. And I do think when the S&P, if the S&P dumps as much as I think, Bitcoin will get caught up in that selling. Remember, a lot of these assets, there's kind of cross breeding, meaning that as we see stocks drop, there are going to be margin calls, and they may have to be met through selling some of crypto. So it kind of all gets caught up in that scenario.
So, well, a couple of points there. I mean, one is, of course, the best way, to diversify and to have an uncorrelated asset. But before we get into what that could be, all right, so Bitcoin is a teenager, and as we know, teenagers never behave exactly how you would like them to behave, drive you insane. So you're thinking, what, 13,000 Bitcoin by 2023? What is your 2023 outlook if, as you say, all of these recession concerns come to fruition, the S&P 500 tanks as much as you expect that it will? Yes. I know it's out there, and I know a lot of things can happen, but right now, what are you looking for Bitcoin to be at?
Yeah, so Bitcoin ran into a ton of resistance. We can see again on the chart here, the high from August of 2022. That's exactly what we've hit over the last couple days here, as well as about a month and a half ago. And I
believe this is put out like yesterday, right? So this is like legit charting.
This is what we're going to do is we're going to come down and test this level of two major trend lines that coexist here at around 18,200. That's going to be a technical bounce level, no doubt about it. But if we break that, then we head to that 15,600 level. You break 15,600, and then the next stop is that 12 to 13,000 level. So again, my projections are showing that eventually that will happen, likely by year end, and we should revisit that 12 to 13,000. I think the 10,000 break to 9,000 would be a case of the all-out bloodbath that would actually put in the bottom. As you think about how many people probably have stops right around 10,000, and that break point would create max fear, which actually is how bottoms are made.
What does it do to the narrative that Bitcoin is supposed to be a hedge against inflation when we'll be seeing, as you anticipate, that inflation cannot be controlled by the Fed, that inflation will continue to rise? What does it do for that argument then?
Yeah, so right now, right, I mean, if we look at inflation and what it's been over the last 12 to 18 months, and then what Bitcoin's done, we see it's definitely not a hedge, right? It's definitely not. Bitcoin has come down from 69,000 all the way bottoming out to 15,600. So that's not the case at this point. I do believe it becomes that asset in the future once we get regulation in there, we get transparency and all these other things. But yeah, right now that's not the case, even though it's showing glimpses of what it wants to become. Like, think about this, right? You have a 14-year-old and you go out on the basketball court, or you go out and they show you a couple glimpses of being a superstar, but they're not a superstar yet. So Bitcoin is doing just that. It's got to mature. It will mature, and it will be that superstar down the line.
It's going to take time.
When can we see Bitcoin become that superstar?
Putting me on the hot seat. Oh, wow. I would say you got to give it another 3 years or so. We got to get through this area. We got to get transparency with regulation. So let's get the regulation out there. I'm rooting for them to get regulation out there. The sooner the better, because we have clarity as investors. Investors love clarity. We want to know that our money's safe. We want to know what's going on with our money when we're investing in things. That's the best case. I think, again, 3+ years out, it becomes that mature entity and can actually thrive.
Interesting. I mean, that's kind of one of the things I reiterate on Saturday Night Live, right? With regulation. I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing. We need it and we don't want it at the same time, right? So the whole thing with big money, they're not going to jump into something if they think they're going to lose everything, right? So we need some sort of I guess make them feel better, like they're not going to just completely lose everything. It has to be backed somehow. So that's what this guy's saying. I mean, nobody's going to be right 100% of the time. We're going to see what's going to happen, but there's two sides of the coin. People are saying it's going to go to 1 million, and other people are saying it's going to go to 9,000. So I don't know. I mean, we're going to obviously keep you guys up to date as best I can. I'm going to try to search some more stuff. I want to look that guy up, Gary. So shout out to him for, I guess, doing that interview. Let's see what Crypto Love has this morning. Let's see if he's got anything charting wise, and then we're gonna get out of here because I do have to go help the wife. She's not feeling too great. Gotta give her a hand with the kids. Let's see. Bitcoin feeding frenzy. All right, let's see what he's got to say.
Boom shakalaka, why $1 million Bitcoin is really bad news and why it's inevitable. Stay tuned. Including why $1 million Bitcoin is just crazy and why it's likely going to happen anyways. Maybe not as soon as everyone thinks. Before we get into it, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell.
I'll leave a link to Crypto Love down below.
Like button. Now, today, Bitcoin fear and greed at 68, up from yesterday 66. We are still in green greed territory, And last week and last month also in greedy territories. However, there was a bit of fear in there as well. The overall market down about 2% today. Bitcoin at 27,550, Ethereum at 1731,
look at that, Dogecoin's back to
329, XRP 38 cents, Cardano 33 cents, Polygon $1.10, Dogecoin 7 cents, and Solana 21.96. And Bitcoin, after yesterday breaking out from this uptrend we were
Yankee, have a good day,
falling
buddy.
back down to levels within the upper band of this uptrend, we still do have on the larger scale.
So for anybody that doesn't know, Crypto Love does like charting as well as he reads a lot of Twitter posts and kind of what other people are looking at. So that's kind of why I like to get his perspective on this. And he does it every day. So it's makes my life a hell of a lot easier.
Inverse head and shoulders, potentially shooting Bitcoin price to $42,000. Did I say $1 million? No, $42,000. But the big news recently is this Bitcoin to $1 million story.
Yeah.
This guy, the CTO of Coinbase, wagered $2 million that Bitcoin would hit $1 million in the next 90 days. Now,
Not gonna happen.
could this happen? Well,
Anything can happen.
according to a
It's not
jailbroken ChatGPT-4, there's an 83.2% chance Bitcoin could hit $1 million per coin by 2025 in the next couple of years. But I suspect, when I heard this, it reminded me of what John McAfee used to do a few years ago. Basically, big publicity stunts.
Oh, do you guys remember
betting
that?
people
Actually,
that
that's a good
Bitcoin would be
point.
$1 million a coin, or he would eat his own dick. Same
Yep.
type of thing. You
I
have to
remember
wonder
that.
what type of publicity stunt. Not only that, but I mean, what does this guy actually know about financial markets? And if Bitcoin were to hit $1 million a coin in 90 days, based on just complete depreciation,
It would ruin
of-
the whole
or
sentiment.
hyperinflation of US dollars, there would be a lot of other really bad stuff going on in the world for that to happen. So is this likely? No. Could it happen? Yeah, sure. Anything in the world can happen. But more likely, cheap publicity stunt, and people believe it because this guy has Coinbase behind his name, has CTO behind his name. Most people don't even know what CTO is. Chief Technical Officer does not mean that he knows anything about prices, markets, anything like that. He might understand cryptography, he might understand technology, but knowing what would happen with Bitcoin price, he would know about as much as I would know, which is, jack squat. Not only that, but a lot of
he's
people
honest.
are saying,
At least
hey,
he's honest.
U.S. hyperinflation, blah, 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 blah. Let's take a look at the data, shall we? If we take a look, turns out the $300 billion expansion of the Fed's balance sheet this year, actually, year on year, still contracting. Compared with what they were printing back after 2020, still contracting even after the $300 billion injection. So it's really not that big of a deal in the grand scale of things. That being said, though, Bitcoin's having a phenomenal year so far, up 80.65% since that Pi cycle bottom flagged way back there that we were talking about way back there. Now, did we believe it there? Oh, it was very difficult to believe back there. Now that Bitcoin's up 80%, yeah, it's easy to look back and say, hey, called it. But hey, nobody knew at those times.
Very true.
Now, Bitcoin has had quite the year. Could this be a top already? Certainly could, but I don't think so. I think it's got a lot higher to go because of all the uncertainty with traditional finances, different things like that. Right now, we have the reversal curved. The reversal confirmed on the RVGI, switched from red to blue, confirming a reversal. That's a pretty good start, called every bottom previously. Also, if we take a look at the Gaussian channel, each time Bitcoin broke this middle band of the Gaussian channel, the bull market ensued. Well, guess what Bitcoin's just doing right now? It's at the middle line. Should we break this area? Could be bull market ensuing. Could be very, very big for Bitcoin. This is the weekly candles. Not only that, but if we take a look at the weekly super trend, the floor has now rise to $20,000, which would make the bottom there not bad. That previous all-time high from 2017 may actually be the bottom. Bitcoin may never go below $20,000 again. That's pretty cool. Now, while that's good news for a lot of people who have bought Bitcoin, some people are like, but what about $13,000? I was supposed to go down to 13, 10,
Yeah, that guy
000,
Gary just
whatever
said
the
that,
heck.
13 or 9.
It may not, but here's the good news. The Bitcoin Investor Tool suggests, according to previous cycles, that anything up to $35,500 represents a good accumulation territory for Bitcoin. That's right, you can still buy Bitcoin in the green here under 35.5. That's great. And guess what? The upper band right now, the sell band, $100,700.
Be a good day.
That's the sell band. That's the greedy sell band.
Listen,
if you
we get up to
not
100K,
greedy, you might
I'm
want to
selling
sell a little
some.
bit below that. Like,
Happening.
let's say starting at about $100,000, start selling.
100,000 is going to be a huge resistance, in my opinion.
Financial advice, by the way. Bitcoin's long-term holder SOPR is finally...
It's just psychological, right? The round numbers, 100,000, it's going to be really tough to break through.
Breaking back into positive territory, which we can see right here, the potential long-time holder SOPR momentum flip. The cohort who survived the 2021 bear market finally spending coins in a profit. You have survived the bear market. We very rarely get this flip. You can see this 1, 2, 3, 4 times in Bitcoin's history. Looks like it's happening for the 5th time, once again, back into profit after a long, hard, cold winter. And you know what? We are entering all up territory for Bitcoin. We're 72% of the way towards the halving. Historically, this is all up territory for Bitcoin. This is where you buy every dip you can.
Ooh, that's a real interesting chart, actually. That's a real interesting chart. So the halving levels are right here at the beginning of this 70% upswing. Wow, that's really interesting. What do you guys think about that? That's kind of cool. Also, I had a poll in the chat. I do want to end it. You guys said I put 25K or 30K. Where's Bitcoin going to next? 58 votes, 41% of you said 25K, and 59% said 30K. So, looks like we're going to see 30K first, according to you guys. All my financial advisors in the chat. Appreciate you.
You pretty much make money on it. How much money? Well, we'll get into that. But Bitcoin, another indicator that we are right at the cusp.
Call
of
broker,
a bull
I have
run.
seen the
Every
rainbow
time Bitcoin
chart.
has broken it through the weekly EMA ribbon.
Not in a bit.
This has been massive bull run territory for Bitcoin. We just broke it. Why would this time be any differently? And if we take a look where we could be headed just by the halving, by about a year and a week from now, we are at the last phase before the halving. 5 bars on a 3-month chart before the halving. Now, if we take a look.
Man, these charts that people come up with, they're interesting, but I guess you could see anything once it's over, right? I mean, if you just stare at charts all day, you could find something to make things out of, right?
The angle that it went up here in 2020, the angle it went up here in 2012, that puts Bitcoin somewhere between $50,000 and $850,000, near $1 million by the halving in a year's time. So that's all for today.
That'd be interesting. Awesome. Go check out Crypto Love. He is awesome. And again, he does a video every single day. So makes my life a hell of a lot easier. Bitcoin overall is looking great. 28,174. Looking pretty good. All right, do you guys have any questions here in the chat real quick before we get out of here? I do have to go give the wife a hand with the kids so she can get out of here for work. So let's see. He's saying having or halving. Yeah, I don't know, dude. People say it both ways. I don't know why. It's just whatever. Halving. Who knows? I would say having, right? V. Is that how you go? Is that how you actually technically say it? All right, guys, hit that like button. Appreciate you. Please consider subscribing. You guys are all awesome. Let me go through the chat real quick. Nerd B said it all depends on the euphoria of the market. If the herd starts running towards 150K, BTC will blow past 100K like it's nothing. We will not know until we get there. And yeah, that's very true too. So my thing is, psychologically, people like round numbers, right? So just like we saw 50K, you know, you're going to see these round numbers. There's going to be a lot of sell pressure at like 50K, 100K, in my opinion anyways. It might even just go to like 110K, like Little Time Mining said. It's, again, the round numbers people like. So when it gets around there, you're going to see a bunch of resistance, at least in my opinion. That's what I think, because I'll definitely be selling some at least at 100K, just because it's, even if it blows past it's most likely going to go below it once again, you know? So that's just my opinion anyways, not financial advice, but we'll see. I mean, it really all depends. I'll probably just hold it to go all the way up. It'll come all the way back down just like I did last time. It's going to be one of those things where I just don't touch it. But either way, I got past my 2-year mark on capital gains, so I'm happy with that as far as taxes go. So that's why I don't touch my holdings. All right, let's see. LTC, $82, back from 100. Is it 82 bucks? Nice. Let's see. Actually, I didn't even look at CoinGecko today. And what the hell was he looking at? I'm starting to lose my voice. Damn it. Dogecoin is at in 10th. It was in 9th on Mr. Crypto Loves chart. Damn it. All right, let's see. What were we just talking about? LTC. Let's see LTC. What are we at? LTC. 82 bucks. Nice. It's getting there, man. It's getting there. Let me see. Max. See, I like that it at least broke its all-time high before. I love Litecoin, man. It really is a sleeping giant. It really is. 30 days. Yo, we were up over around 100 bucks beginning or the 19th of February. We're now at the 21st of March. Getting there, man. It's creeping back up. But I wonder why it actually went down this far. I do wonder. If anybody knows, let me know. Let me know. I think if LTC pumps, BTC will dump. That's interesting. That's very interesting, actually. Man, and I hate that I have to sell Litecoin to pay for my electric bill. It's aggravating. I kind of want to save it instead of Dogecoin. But Dogecoin, man, being at 7 cents, it was at 9 cents. It needs to get back up there. Let's see. See that X2 bottoming forming. Let's see. What are you... Oh, you're talking about an LTC? Let me go back to it. Let me see. What are you talking about? Little time mining. He's a charting guy. I'm not as much a charting guy. Talking about here? Like here and here? Where it formed, the little bottoms. I mean, it's a high or low, right? Is that what they call it? So higher lows are definitely better, which is a good thing. Yeah, on the right. Yeah. Looks good, man. Looks good. I'm gonna get rid of that. Put that up. How's that? Let's see. How's Caspa doing today? Actually, you know what? Let me go to just all the coins. I want to see what's leading in the last 24 hours. XDC network. What the hell's that? XDC. XRP. XRP's pumping. What the hell? 3.4%. Interesting. I wonder if there's any news. The what's it called? Court case. I haven't heard anything about it, but I know Hawk's one of the guys that listens to that stuff. Ethereum 8%. Ooh, you know what? Kind of a good topic. Maybe we should try to talk about this afternoon if I can get live again, where I can get my kids down. Hopefully this afternoon around 2 p.m. That was the challenge yesterday. I wasn't able to get them down, unfortunately. Back from vacation, getting them back on schedule is miserable. But the whole thing with Ethereum being unstaked, right? The Shanghai upgrade that is supposed to happen on April 12th. Do you guys think it's going to crash the Ethereum market? Do you think people are going to sell it, or do you think people are just going to leave it alone? So again, I heard on BitBoy Crypto's channel when I was driving for 18 hours, I had nothing better to listen to. And he actually did make a good, valid point, in at least my opinion. He stated that people that staked their Ethereum actually staked it around $600, and they staked it without any intention or any foresight of knowing when they could remove said Ethereum, right? So why would you think that they're going to rip it out now when they're already 2-3x their money? It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And it really, that conversation he was having with his audience made sense to me, at least, right? Allset Miner saying delay on the ETH update. Yeah, I mean, there could be a delay too. Never know. Never know. I'm curious what Vitalik's saying on the staking subject. Yeah, me too. Actually, you know what? I heard something. Who was it? Who was talking about it yesterday? I don't think it was Crypto Wendy. Who was it? I forget. Somebody was saying something about Vitalik saying that we should be going easier on like FTX or something. Sorry, Sam Bankman-Fried with this whole FTX debacle. Like people need to be nicer to each other and all this BS. Man, I forget where I heard that yesterday, but it was total BS. So I don't know. Vitalik's like off in left field. He's like, he's one of those guys, right? But at the end of the day, everything runs on Ethereum. So like, I don't think Ethereum's going to be doing bad overall. Like, that's just my opinion. I really think it's going to be doing perfectly fine and continue to go up. Also, I don't know if you guys saw that BitBoy exposed Shiba Inu right here. Oh, sorry. This, the guy that founded Shiba Inu, I forget his name, but it was pretty interesting. Not that it really matters to me. Hopefully it doesn't, or does matter to you guys. Let me know if it does. But Shiba's in 14th. It's still holding pretty strong, which is kind of good. So can't complain. I do have like 1 million that I'm ready to dump. So I hope that stuff goes to the moon someday. That'd be nice, right? All right, guys, I gotta get out of here. Gotta go help the wife with the kids. She can get to work. Hopefully you guys have a great day. I will try to be back around 2 p.m. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. Until next time, have a good day. I'll catch you soon. Peace out. If I get out of here. Peace.